The head captain and commander of the Gotei 13, Genryusai Shigekuni Yamamoto, versus the ghost of the Uchiha Madara. Who would win in a fight between these two? Let's talk about it. When scaling Yamamoto, the clearest bit to look at would be his superiority to the rest of the Shinigamis around him. All through the lore of Bleach, one thing Kubo made sure he did was deliberate on the simple fact that Yamamoto is by far the strongest and most powerful Shinigami. For over the 1000 years he's been the head captain and pretty much in the entirety of Soul Society history. It was stated multiple times in the Bleach guidebooks, and narratively in the series it's mentioned and implied numerous times as well, so there is no need to doubt this claim in any way. And this is backed up even further in the 1000-year Blood War arc, when Yuabaku, after researching the power of every captain in the Gotei 13, still informed all of the Stenrita to not attempt to steal Yamamoto's Bankai if they ever run into him, as none of them except Yuabaku himself are capable of controlling that Bankai and its power. So, not only is Bankai Yamamoto superior to every captain, he's also more powerful than any Stenrita in Yuabaku's Quincy army, including the Royal Guards, cause Jugram and Royd Lloyd were right there, and they couldn't do anything about Zanka no Tachi either, so. And this is a nerf to Yamamoto because of his left arm that's missing, which would normally double his striking power, which is absolutely crazy, by the way. Now, in terms of AP, Yamamoto with his Bankai should at least be in the multi-continent level ranges, from being able to burn down the Soul Society, which can be said to be a planet-sized dimension. Now, of course, depending on the interpretation, this would probably be a low ball considering that Soul Society has its own day and night cycle with stars and all, just like a normal solar system would. But the contention still comes from whether or not he was going to just burn down the whole planet space. So, it's really weird, and I'll just leave this one up to you because I don't think it even matters here that much. As for his durability, it should correlate to his attack potency, and evidently we actually see Yamamoto being able to withstand his own attacks in Shikai. And in Bankai, his body can suppress the force of its power in order not to destroy Soul Society according to him. So yeah. In terms of speed, he should at least be superior to every captain in the Gotei 13 and all of the Stenrita, and among them is a Quincy Royal Guard, Lily Barrow, who can shoot out light beams in his true holy form. So at the very least, all of this should put Yamamoto in the FTL ranges, but how much further he is into it is unquantifiable. He's also extremely intelligent and experienced, perfectly maxing out in all stats according to the data books, and it makes sense as he's been the head of Soul Society for such a long time. Perfectly proficient in all of the main Shinigami fighting arts, and he's also a Kido master, which means his versatility is ridiculous as he'll be able to use like 100 different Kido techniques. But when it comes to his main fighting ability, it's with the use of his Zanpakuto, Ryujin Jakka, the strongest fire-type Zanpakuto and the most powerful among all Soul Society Shinigamis in general. Just by releasing his Shikai, he can shoot out large torrents of flames that can burn the entire area to a crisp. And with more advanced techniques, he can even create skyscraper-tall flames that can obliterate an entire city-sized area like Karakura Town. But when he gets serious enough, which he rarely ever did anyway, he can activate his Bankai and utilize Zanka no Tachi. As if his flames weren't hot enough before, in his Bankai state, Yamamoto's flames reach a temperature of 15 million degrees, which is just as hot as the sun's core. And in this mode, standing in close proximity to Yamamoto is pretty much suicide in itself, as the heat being generated from him is so great. One wouldn't be able to withstand such heat without some form of extra defense or protection. Yamamoto's Bankai would also have four main abilities, which are Zanka no Tachi East Kyoku Jitsujin. This is all of Ryujin Jakka's flames concentrated into the edge of his blade for more power, and anything this strikes is simply erased, giving him some form of existence erasure with this ability. Next is Zanka no Tachi West, Zanjitsu Gokui. And this is some form of ultimate defense, which is all of that 15 million degrees being clad around Yamamoto like a body armor, making it impossible to touch him basically. He also has Zanka no Tachi South, Kakaju Manokshi Daisojin, where Yamamoto strikes his sword into the ground and uses the tip with the heat of his blade to revive the souls of all the enemies he has ever slain. And lastly, Zanka no Tachi North, Tenchi Kaijin, which is just a wave of fire sword strike that erases anything he hits. So that's it on Yamamoto, and how exactly does he match up against his opponents? In terms of AP, Madara in his strongest form easily scales to 6 parts Naruto, who is relative to Kaguya, who could obliterate multiple time spaces of at least solar system size, as they all had their own day and night cycle as well as a starry sky and multiple stars in it. And beyond that, they are even implied to be universes, but take it as you will. Not only is Madara rivaling 6 parts Naruto and Sasuke, but he's also implied to be above them as they needed to team up just to take him down. And even if you lowball these guys, being massively superior to the likes of the Nine-Tails and Ten-Tails as well as their Jinchurikis, this would already put Madara above the planetary ranges by many tiers. And of course, his durability would easily correlate to this. After all, this is the same dude who in a much weaker form could tank the Ten-Tails Cataclysm with an incomplete Susanoo. tank attacks from all of the Biju simultaneously and only lose one of his arms. He even tanked all of 8-gauge guys' attacks and so on. So, considering the most consistent scaling for both characters, Madara is already superior to Yamamoto in terms of raw power as well as durability. And when you are looking at speed, I think it's blatantly obvious that Madara is faster than Yamamoto. I mean, this dude even outboxes characters that literally teleport using instantaneous space-time travel. And with his Sharingan and Rinnegan ocular prowess, his reaction speed as well as his innate sage sensory ability would make it easier for him to react to Yamamoto's attacks better. Hell, even Royd Lloyd's bomb ass could dodge almost all of Yamamoto's Bankai attacks, so come on, man. But then people would actually argue that with 50 million degrees, Yamamoto's heat with its wide range would just incinerate Madara and there's absolutely nothing he can do about it. And that is just cap. Just like how Quincy's like Royd Lloyd could shield themselves from Zanka no Tachi's heat using Blood Vein, Madara being shrouded in his 6-part Jubi cloak would automatically protect him from that heat the same way. And worst case scenario, he would just pull out his Susanoo for defense to shield himself. And if you wanted to get technical and take this further, the Amaterasu is also stated to burn as hot as the sun, and this statement wouldn't be referring to the surface, as we see a less potent Amaterasu from Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke burn right through the Raikage's lightning armor, lightning being 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. And Madara in a much weaker form was able to tank Amaterasu's heat with no difficulty, so there is no reason to doubt it. And to hit the final nail on the coffin on this particular point, Madara actually has certain levels of immortality in his Jubi form and can regenerate from almost anything. The dude can literally just grow his body back even with ridiculous damage done to him, like how he can easily attach severed arms, or how he just regrew his torso back after my guy's night guy kick obliterated it. I mean, this motherfucker quite literally regrew his entire lower body back after Sasuke cut him in half. It's insane. So let's say the fake Yuabak and Madara swapped places and he got hit with Zanka no Tachi Knots, the same move that killed Royd Lloyd. If Madara got hit with the same technique, he would simply regrow that part of his body back and keep fighting like nothing happened. Now on the flip side, not only does Madara outpower and outspeed Yamamoto while being able to pretty much withstand his strongest and deadliest abilities, Madara just has a bunch of ways he can kill Yamamoto anytime and anyhow he wants, and there is absolutely nothing he can do to counter any of them. And before I proceed, if you're one of those people that's still living in the past thinking Madara won't be able to see Yamamoto or you get so crushed, I suggest you go watch these 2 videos I made. Long story short, none of that soul crush shit is gonna happen and Madara will see him and fight him clearly, so just drop it. And before you break up the he can destroy his soul with his Zanpakuto arguments, listen, Madara and many more characters in the Narutoverse have resistances to soul manipulation on so many levels, so just let it go. Madara already has his true Seeker Orb, which have existence erasure and would completely obliterate Yamamoto's entire being easily. And Madara can shape them anyhow he wants for attack and defense. At this point, I'm sure arguments for Yamamoto will come up like Yamamoto has his Reiatsu cloak of armor with Zanka no Tachi West, so Madara's attacks will land. And I hate to break it to you because, as a matter of fact, it will. Not only is Madara's AP just going to overwhelm Yamamoto's durability via scaling, but even in his fight with the fake Yuabak, Royd Lloyd was actually able to fire attacks in close proximity that forced Yamamoto to block with his hand. And these attacks didn't melt or get destroyed by the heat around him, so imagine what Madara would do, cause Royd Lloyd isn't even on the same level as Madara. And Madara has Biju bombs that can nuke entire continents willingly, and he can use those to blast the hell out of Yamamoto. Madara even has the Susanoo, which would just be overkill in my opinion, because even in a much weaker form of Edo Tensei, just the shockwaves of his Susanoo blades can change the entire landscape. Now imagine a 10 tails amped Susanoo, that's just too much power right there. And he still has his clone abilities as well, come on man. Like, what's Yamamoto supposed to do? In character, he doesn't even use Kido attacks that much. And even if he did, Madara can just counter them anyway. And it doesn't really help that Yamamoto's stamina in his Bankai state is not that great, as all that counter force of his Bankai is constantly being held back by his body, and his old ass isn't built for it anymore. It's a power that would ultimately kill Yamamoto himself if he uses it for too long. So there's absolutely no reality where Yamamoto beats Madara or even threatens his life. He's outclassed in every single stat, and Madara just has a ridiculous arsenal of hacks abilities that make this fight a quick work for him. I could have made this video very short by saying Madara puts him in a Genjutsu, and that's an instant GG because Yamamoto won't be able to break out of it. It's an ocular Genjutsu, so the target doesn't need to have chakra, as the caster can directly pour their own chakra into them instead. I've already explained this in previous videos, so you know how it goes. But anyway, I think we all get the story. Long story short, Madara absolutely destroys banker Yamamoto 10 out of 10 times, low to mid difficulty at best. I honestly don't even know what Yamamoto would do to make this a high diff, because Madara just counters every single thing this guy can do. And this fight would have been so much worse if verse equalization was applied, because all of that heat around Yamamoto would just get absorbed by the Rinnegan. Since it's not actually fire, it's just Yamamoto's Reiatsu. But either ways, it's a slam, so no biggie. Considering what a lot of Bleach fanboys are like, I'll be expecting a lot of heat for this video. So be sure to let me know what you agree or disagree with. It's probably impossible, but I'd appreciate if y'all can drop sensible points to counter the ones I made in the video. And I honestly doubt it's based on experience, but we'll see how it goes. Nothing is due under the sun. A while back, I told you all that I would get into the Naruto versus Bleach versus battles, and I figured this was the perfect intro into it. So let me know if you guys enjoyed it, and let me know the videos you want to see next on these two verses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.